This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, welcome to our day 6 Oracle Golden Gate Classic Architecture training. My name is Ashish and I'll be delivering this lecture to you. So before we come in, just a quick update regarding the YouTube channel. So do like and subscribe YouTube channel Ashish, youtube.com/Ashish Agarwal _GG, which is dedicated to Golden Gate related videos. So do like and subscribe. You can find a lot of useful content over there. Let us start now. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about Oracle Golden Gate parameters. So far we have set up our unidirectional replication in our Oracle Golden Gate environment. Like we have configured capture process, pump process, delivery process, and each process in Oracle Golden Gate works according to parameters you provide in the parameter file. So if you have to look at the parameter file, if I open the parameter file, in which directory your parameter file resides? Anyone? Which directory your parameter file resides?
DIR PRM.
Exactly. dir PRM. So dir PRM is the directory which stores the parameter file. So if I log into GGSCI and when I do info all, it lists down all the Golden Gate processes configured in my current environment. Now, if I have to view the parameter file, how can I do? I'll do view param ext int29 view param process name. So basically from where I'm getting this information from, I'm getting this information from dir prm directory. So what happens is when I do view param process name, what it does is it goes to the dir prm directory, searches for the file with the name process name.prm, and then displays the result in front of you. So this is the parameter file. So if you want to edit, how do you edit? You have to do edit param process name. This is how you can edit the parameter file. Similarly, you have manager parameter file as well, view param mgr. So each process has its own parameter file. Now I always give one analogy. Parameter files are the heartbeat of Oracle Golden Gate. What control file is to Oracle database, parameter files are to Oracle Golden Gate. If you miss the parameter file, if you lose the parameter file of any process, your Golden Gate process will not work. So if I have to show it to you, just for an example, I'll go to dir prm directory. And so another thing before I do that, so right now my process is running. Right now my processes are running. Okay. Now if I exit, go to dir prm. Okay. Now say for example, I move, means I rename extint29.prm to extint29.prm _1. Okay, this has been renamed. Now, ideally what I'm saying, what should have happened? The process should stop, right? Do you think that process will stop? No, the process will continue to run. The reason being, what happens is whenever you restart the process, whenever you start the process, the parameter file of that particular process is read at that particular time. The parameter file of that particular process is read at that particular time, and hence as a result, because parameter file is read at that particular time, now according to parameters you provided in the parameter file, process will continue to run. Now if I stop, now process has started and it will continue to run with the parameter file which was present. So parameter file is referred once only during the startup, and it starts according to parameters provided in the parameter file. So if I stop parameter file now, if I stop the process now if I try to start, what will happen? It will now try to refer to the parameter file. Sorry, because it is integrated, it takes few seconds to close. So that's why it says it is already running. So as soon as it is stopped, and then if I try to start it now, start extint29, now you will find the message that parameter file does not exist. So parameter file for each process is referred at the startup, and according to parameters you provide in parameter files, process runs according to those parameters. So your parameter file, your process ext int 29 right now is running according to parameters provided in that particular parameter file. Okay, now the thing here is, uh, now every time whenever you make changes to the parameter file, you remember in the previous session I discussed about some of the steps you have to take while you are starting the parameter file. So always ensure while making changes to the parameter file, take necessary approval. Then also ensure what you do is you back up the parameter file, back up the existing parameter file in dir prm directory, then stop the process. Okay, I have already mentioned the backup. Okay, so take the necessary approval, stop the process, take the backup. So you can do like stop the process and take the backup, or you can take the backup and stop the process, both are fine. And then open the parameter file, edit it, and then save and close, verify the changes and start the process. Now the question is, why do I have to follow these steps? The reason being, if you have made changes to the parameter file, until you restart the process, the changes doesn't take effect. That's why you always have to restart the process if you are making changes to the parameter file, and if you want to make those changes effective into the parameter file. So always for parameter files, whenever you want to make the changes, follow these steps. I again repeat, these are really very useful. Take necessary approval for process stoppage or downtime. Once you have necessary approval, stop the process. Take the backup of existing parameter file. This is not mandatory, but this is recommended. Open the parameter file and edit it. Once you have opened and edited, then save it and close it. Okay, and then verify the changes and then start the process. So once you have done that, now once you have restarted the process, now process will start according to new parameters you have provided in the parameter file. So I'll again exit, go to dir prm and move this ext int 29.prm underscore 1 to ext int 29.prm. Now I'll go to ggsci, do info all again. Okay, now if I have to start the process, I can start the process, and the parameter file will be referred at the startup of Oracle Golden Gate process. So my process right now is running, and it will run according to parameters you have provided. So if you see view param ext int 29, if you see the parameters, the process works according to parameters you provide in the parameter file. So this extract process, there may be 100 tables in the database, 100 schemas. However, this process is capturing the data of only one schema and 2 tables. Similarly, if I do view param dpint29, you will see that this process is writing the data to this remote host, and on this manager port it will connect to target and it will write data to this particular remote trail for these 2 tables. This third table, as we discussed yesterday, it is part of the data pump only, it is not part of the extract process. So even if we don't provide, this table is of no meaning. Similarly, for Replicate, each process has its own parameter file. So now there are certain rules which you have to keep in mind related to Oracle Golden Gate processes. First rule is, so there are 6 golden rules you have to keep in mind. First rule is parameter files reside inside dir prm directory. So each process parameter file resides inside dir prm directory. So Golden Gate home / dir prm is the directory where your parameter file resides. Every parameter has a default value. Every parameter has a counter or opposite parameter. Validity of parameter in parameter file is there until its counter or opposite parameter is encountered. A parameter is valid for either extract parameter file, data pump parameter file, or replicate parameter file, or it may be valid for all three parameter files. And parameter is valid for tables following that parameter. So prior to that, let me tell you one more thing. There are two types of parameter files. What are two types of parameter files? One is process related parameter files, and second is globals parameter file. Second is globals parameter file. So what happens is the process related parameter files are these, whatever you see right now. These are the process related parameter files. So this is DPINT29, then you have EXCINT29. Now similarly, under Golden Gate Home, you can create one globals parameter file. What happens in globals parameter file is whatever parameters you provide in globals parameter file, they are applicable to all the processes which are part of that Golden Gate Home. So basically, if I create one globals parameter file, how to create globals parameter file? You have to do edit param dot slash globals. So you can provide any parameter in globals parameter file. Like if you say, for example, if you want to provide this user ID alias, you can provide the user ID alias parameter in globals parameter file. What it does is the globals parameter file parameters applies to all the processes in that particular home. So whatever parameters you provide in globals parameter file, what happens is it applies globally. Globally means all the processes that are part of that particular Golden Gate Home, the processes in globals parameter file will be applicable to all the processes. Now another thing is, say for example, you have two types of if you have contradicting parameters in globals and process related parameter file. So what happens is process related parameter take precedence over globals parameter file. So say for example, in globals you give user ID alias to CDB. However, in process you give user ID alias to PDB. Now in that scenario, what happens is your globals will take into effect first. Sorry, your process related parameter will take into effect. So the parameters which you provide in globals are specific to complete Golden Gate Home and all the Golden Gate processes. However, whatever parameters if you provide in the process related parameter files as well as globals, so what happens is in that scenario process related parameter take precedence. Okay, now these are the rules. We'll be discussing about globals. We'll be doing some of the parameters later on during the later part of the sessions, like when we do performance matrix server, etc., or heartbeat table. We'll be discussing about globals parameter file more. So these are the 6 golden rules you have to keep in mind. Every parameter has a default value. Every parameter has counter or opposite parameter. Validity of parameter in parameter file is there until its counter or opposite parameter is encountered. Parameter is valid either for extract parameter file, data pump parameter file, or replicate parameter file, or it may be valid for all 3 parameter files. And parameter is valid for tables following that parameter. So now let us discuss about these 6 parameters. Get inserts, ignore inserts. Get updates, ignore updates. Get deletes, ignore deletes. Along with that, I'll include one more parameter, get truncates, ignore truncates. And default in this scenario is ignore. Okay, so I'm discussing about get inserts, ignore inserts, get updates, ignore updates, get deletes, ignore deletes. Prior to that, let me open the parameter file for this extract. Let me open this parameter file. EXTINT29.1. This is the parameter file. So we know that in Golden Gate, it is possible to filter out the transactions. Like if we want Golden Gate to capture only insert, we can do that. If we want to capture Golden Gate only update, we can do that, or delete, we can do that. However, here have we mentioned anywhere for the extract process that it has to capture insert, it has to capture update, it has to capture delete, or it has to capture any type of transaction? Have we mentioned anything over here? No. How does it know that what type of transactions it has to capture? how this parameter file knows what all transactions it has to capture for DEPT11 as well as EMP1. How does it know that? Because we tested that when we did insert, it was successfully capturing. When we did update, it was successfully capturing. When we did delete, it is successfully capturing. However, the question is, how does Golden Gate know that it has to capture insert, update, delete? So the answer lies in the next part, which we are going to discuss right now. So these are the 6 parameters which we are going to discuss. Get inserts, ignored inserts. Get updates, ignore updates. Get deletes, ignore deletes. So do you see the second rule? Every parameter has a default value. Every parameter has a default value. So what happens is, if you're not mentioning anything in this parameter file right now, if you're not mentioning anything in this parameter file right now, what happens is there are some default which are making this extract parameter file to capture inserts, updates, as well as deletes. So as we mentioned, there are 6 parameter files which we are discussing right now. Get inserts, ignore inserts, get updates, ignore updates, get deletes, ignore deletes. So every parameter has a default value. So Golden Gate parameters are self-explanatory. If you look at Golden Gate parameters, most of the parameters you can understand just by looking at parameters. So like get inserts. What does get insert means? That capture the insert transactions. And ignore inserts means ignore the transaction. Similarly, get updates, what does it mean? Capture the updates. Ignore update means ignore the updates. Similarly, get deletes and ignore deletes. So get deletes means capture the transaction. So every parameter has a default value. So the default in this case, in which when we are talking about the 6 parameters, is get. So by default it is get inserts, get updates, and get deletes. So even though you're not mentioning anything, what happens is it will be get inserts, get updates, and get deletes. And this is how your extract parameter, because it is default, that's why it is able to capture your inserts, updates, and deletes. Every parameter has a counter or opposite parameter. So the opposite parameter of get inserts is ignore inserts. Similarly, opposite of ignore inserts is get inserts. Opposite of get updates is ignore updates. Opposite of ignore updates is get updates. Opposite of get deletes is ignore deletes. Opposite of ignore deletes is get deletes. So basically you will be, so these are the 6 parameters, and in the case of these 6 parameters, default is get, and the opposite of each parameter is there. So opposite of get is ignore in case of inserts, updates, and deletes. Similarly, opposite of ignore is get. Now validity of parameter in parameter file is there until its counter parameter is encountered. So get inserts is valid in the parameter file until ignore inserts is encountered. Similarly, ignore inserts is valid in the parameter file until get inserts is encountered. Same way, get updates is valid until ignore updates is encountered, and ignore updates is valid until get updates is encountered. And in the same way, get deletes is valid in the parameter file until ignore deletes is encountered, and vice versa. Now a parameter is valid either for extract parameter file or data pump parameter file or replicate parameter file, or it may be valid for all 3 parameter files. So in case of these parameter files, this is valid for all 3 parameter files. So you can use these parameters either in extract or data pump or replicate parameter file. Now parameter is valid for tables following that parameter. So on any table which follows the parameters are valid. So we'll be discussing that when we do one practical for this. Now when we talk about this get truncates, now so far we have seen that. So let me copy this first. Okay, let me copy. So basically, how does this parameter file look like? Basically, how does this parameter file, if I have to look at this parameter file, how does this parameter file look like? This parameter file basically looks like this: get inserts, get updates, and get deletes. So even if I include or I don't include, even if I include or I don't include, these parameters remain. So the parameter file looks same, or the functionality remains same if I do this or if I do this, because these are the default parameters. Similarly, I want to talk about these two parameters: get truncates, ignore truncates. So far we have seen DML replication. For DDL replication, there are separate parameters which we have to use. So right now our DDL replication is not configured. However, in case of truncates, truncate is a DDL statement. Truncate is a DDL statement. So if you just want to enable, if you don't want to enable DDL replication but just want to enable truncates, you have separate parameter called as get truncates, ignore truncates. So in case of truncates, default is ignore. That means that by default truncates are not captured. By default truncates are not captured. So basically, if I have to look at this parameter file looks like this: ignore truncates as well, if I have to include. So what happens is, by default, by this extract process parameter file, it will capture insert, it will capture update, it will capture deletes as well. However, it is going to ignore your truncates parameter. So by default for truncates, it is ignore. By default for truncates, it is ignore. That means that truncate statements are by default does not capture by the extract process. To capture them, you have to explicitly mention get truncates. So default comes into picture until the time your opposite parameter is not there. So if opposite parameter is specified, in that scenario your default doesn't come into picture. What does default mean? Basically, default means that the value which will take precedence if nothing is specified, right? And if anything is specified, then that value will take precedence. So default is ignore truncates. So in this scenario, what is the opposite parameter of ignore truncates? Get truncates. Similarly, opposite of get truncates is ignore truncates, and this is again valid for all three parameter files. Okay, so now before we proceed further, let us do one exercise quickly. Let us do one exercise. Okay, so we have a requirement. We have 4 tables: T1, T2, T3, T4. Okay, now the requirement is for T1 table, we want to capture insert, update, but no deletes. That is, we don't want to capture any deletes. For T2 table, we want to capture insert, delete, but no update. Similarly, for T3 table, we want to capture update, delete, but no insert. However, for T4 table, we want to capture insert, update, and delete. So the requirement, I again repeat, the customer requirement is there are 4 tables which needs to be captured. The requirement for first table is we want to capture insert, updates, but no deletes. For T2 table, we want to capture insert and delete, but not updates. For T3 table, we want to capture update and delete, but not inserts. And for T4 table, we want to capture inserts, updates, as well as delete transactions. Okay, now we have to achieve this requirement. To achieve this, we have to follow these 6 golden rules, what we have discussed, and we'll be using these 6 parameters. So what I'll do, I'll include one more thing. I'll include for T1 table, we don't want to capture truncates. only for T2 table we want to capture truncates. For T4 table, for T3 table, no truncates. Similarly for T1 as well, no truncates. And for T4, again we want to capture truncates. So the requirement is T1, we want to capture insert update only, but no delete, no truncate. For T2, insert delete, but no update, and truncates we want to capture. For T3, we want to capture update delete, but no insert, no truncate. And for T4, we want to capture everything including truncates. Okay, and we have to follow these 6 golden rules, and also we have to use these 8 parameters. We have to use these 8 parameters to achieve our requirement. How can we achieve? So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to give you a couple of minutes with this requirement. I'm going to paste it in the chat. Okay, I want to give you a couple of minutes. Think about it. How can we achieve? Try to use your brain, and I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, quick couple of minutes. Okay, and paste it in the chat if you want to paste. So the requirement is clear, right? And we'll be discussing about this.
This conference will now be recorded.
So now we'll achieve this requirement. Okay, how we'll achieve? So let me copy the initial parameters like these. These parameters let me copy, so these will be same. Okay, so for T1 table we have to capture insert, update and delete. So we have to remember the 6 golden rules. We have to remember these 6 golden rules. Let me paste it on that. Okay, so first table is we have to capture inserts and updates, but no deletes, no truncates. So what would be my parameters right now? So first parameter will be get insert, second parameter will be get delete, third parameter will be ignore delete, fourth parameter will be ignore truncate. So remember one thing, there are some default parameters like get inserts, get updates and ignore truncates. These are default parameters. So even if I include or I don't include, that will be fine. Even if I include that, there is no issue. So my parameter file will look like this: get inserts, get updates, ignore deletes and ignore truncates. And then I give table pdb1.ggtraining1.t1. Now the thing is, there are default parameters in place. There are default parameters like get inserts and get updates. Even though you give, that doesn't matter. Like if I give it like this, Golden Gate is not going to complain anything. But the thing is, you have to consider one thing. As a Golden Gate administrator, because Golden Gate is still niche, right? There are not many Golden Gate administrators available. So basically, when you are working, when you're developing Golden Gate, you will have to administer or support that environment as well once it goes live. So the less parameters there are, the easier it will be for you to manage the Golden Gate, right? So why do you want to keep any default parameters? Means personally that is not recommended. If you include, I again repeat, it's not wrong, but it's not recommended, but because otherwise it will get your parameter file big. So I can remove the default parameters, right? So I can remove this get inserts, get updates, and ignore truncates is also by default. So I can remove ignore truncates as well. Now, why did I give after the parameter? So remember, validity of parameter in parameter file is there until its counter parameter is encountered. So this get inserts, get update, or ignore truncates, which are default, along with ignore deletes. These parameters will be valid in the parameter file until its counter parameter is encountered. So this ignore deletes will be valid in the parameter file until its counter parameter get deletes is encountered. So this ignore deletes will be valid now. Now, another point, if you see, parameter is valid for tables following that parameter. So this parameter ignore deletes is valid for T1. The reason being, it has been this table parameter, this table specification is coming after the parameter, or this table specification is following the parameter. If I put it above this, say for example, if I put it above this, so then this ignore deletes cannot be valid for this table. The reason being, parameter is valid for tables following that particular parameter. Okay, now let us move to second requirement. So T1 table is fine. Now for T2 table, we have to capture inserts, we have to capture deletes, but we don't have to capture updates, and we have to capture truncates as well. So what parameters should I give now? So I again repeat, for T2, we have to capture insert, we have to capture delete, but no updates, and we have to capture truncates as well. So for capturing insert, so basically get inserts was by default, and we don't have any counter or opposite parameter of inserts right now. As a result, get inserts will remain valid here as well. So because it is default and it is continue to be valid, we don't have to worry. We don't have to include get inserts.
Ashish, I think you should include the ignore truncates in the beginning.
Now next is we have to capture deletes. We have to capture deletes here. So,
Ashish, we need to put grade, delete, and ignore on it.
Wait, Mosmi, let me complete. Okay. So now for second thing is for T2 table, we have to capture deletes. So deletes here is getting ignored. So a parameter is valid in parameter file until its counter parameter is encountered. Until its counter parameter is encountered. So basically this ignore deletes is valid until its counter parameter get deletes is encountered. So now what we'll be doing, we'll be including the parameter get deletes, and then we have to ignore the updates. So get updates is by default. So until here your get updates is getting valid. Until here your get updates is getting valid. So to nullify the effect of get updates, we have to include the parameter ignore updates. And then we also have to capture truncates. Now truncates is by default ignored here because we haven't mentioned anything for truncates. That means that truncates are ignored until this point. So if we have to capture the truncates, we'll be including the parameter get truncates. We'll be including the parameter get truncates, and then we'll give table pdb1 dot ggtraining1 dot T2. So now what happens is these, so look at the sixth point first. Parameter is valid for tables following that parameter. That means that this ignore deletes can be valid for T1 as well as T2. It can be, I'm not saying, listen to the word, it can be. This ignore deletes can be valid for T1 as well as T2. However, you also have to ensure that validity of parameter in parameter file is there until its counter or opposite parameter is encountered. So this ignore deletes is valid in parameter file until this point. From this point onwards in this parameter file, now get deletes take precedence, and this get deletes will be valid in this parameter file now until its counter parameter ignore deletes is encountered. So this ignore deletes is valid right now until this point, and from this point get deletes gets valid, and it will remain valid until its parameter or counter parameter ignore deletes is encountered. In the same way, you have get inserts by default from here, right? Even we haven't mentioned, that means that here your get inserts is valid. So get inserts is valid for this, and because there is no counter parameter for get inserts encountered, as a result get inserts remain valid for T1 table as well as T2 table. For get deletes, basically ignore deletes is valid for T1 and it can be valid for T2 as well. However, because it is get deletes here, that's why the validity of ignore deletes stops here, and from this point onward get deletes take precedence. Same way get updates is valid until here, but at this point ignore updates take precedence. And similarly ignore truncates is valid until this point, and from this point onward get truncates take precedence. So parameter is valid for tables following that parameter. So as I mentioned, this parameter is eligible to be valid for T1 as well as T2, provided this condition, counter parameter condition, is successful. However, these three parameters what I have mentioned, they can only be valid for T2. They cannot be valid for T1. The reason being, parameter is valid for tables following that parameter. So the table T1 has been provided above these three. As a result, these three parameters cannot be valid for this table, but it can only be valid for this table as of now. But this parameter can be valid for this as well as this. It is eligible to be valid depending on if this counter parameter is encountered. So ignore deletes validity is until this point. From here get deletes take precedence. Okay, now in the same way I want someone to answer for T3. So the requirement for T3 is we have to capture updates, we have to capture deletes, but we don't have to capture inserts and truncates.
Ashish, I
So what would
pasted
be my parameters? First of all for update,
get updates.
why do I need to include? So give me the reason as well. Why do we need to include get updates?
Because in the previous place it was ignore update, so it is valid throughout the until the next table appears.
Exactly. So the reason why the requirement is we have to capture updates. Now from this point onwards, your ignore updates is coming. As a result, to nullify the effect of ignore updates, you have to include the parameter get updates. Now second is we have to capture deletes. So do I need to include deletes? Do I need to include get deletes now?
No,
You have to,
previously
you don't need to,
mentioned.
because you already did that in the beginning.
Begin.
Are you sure we did it? We did it at the beginning.
Yeah, before the table 1 T1.
So before T1 it was ignore deletes, but after that we have get deletes, and this parameter will remain valid until its counter parameter ignore deletes is encountered. So this get deletes will come from above, and as a result I don't need to include get deletes again. Now third is we have to ignore the inserts. So what do I need to do now?
So you have to say ignore inserts.
Okay, now why do I need to say ignore inserts?
Because it's get insert since the beginning of the table. We never specified the counter for that.
Exactly. So because it is default, and from here it is valid until this point it is valid because there is no ignore inserts. Until this point your get inserts will remain valid, and from this point onwards, to nullify the effect of get inserts, we have to include the parameter ignore inserts. So now ignore inserts is no longer valid. And last is we have to nullify the effect of truncates. So do I need to include the parameter ignore truncates?
Yes.
The reason is
We have
Previously we did
exactly.
get truncate.
So get truncates is valid until this point. So to nullify the effect of ignore truncates, we'll be giving ignore truncates, and then we give table pdb1.ggtraining1.t semicolon. So now,
Ashish, is ignore truncates the default value?
So now what happens is, these three parameters what I have mentioned here, these are eligible or these can be valid only for T3 table. But for T2 and T1 table, these three parameters cannot be valid. The reason being, a parameter is valid for tables following that parameter. So the table which is following these parameters are only T3 table. As a result, these parameters what I have mentioned cannot be valid for either T2 or T1 table. However, this parameter ignore deletes or any default parameter until now, they are eligible to be valid for T1, T2 and T3. Depending on fourth point what we have, validity of parameter in parameter file is there until its counter or opposite parameter is encountered. Similarly, these three parameters and any default parameter up till this point is eligible to be valid for only T2 and T3. It cannot be valid for T1 table because of this rule, or rule number 6. And these three parameters can only be valid for T3 table, not for T2 and T1 table. So each parameter validity is there based on its counter parameter. Now, if you see in this parameter file, multiple times what happens is get updates is getting valid at this point. Then it is ignore updates at this point. Then again get updates is getting valid at this point. So same parameter, same operation is getting eligible or getting eligible to be captured for one table, and for another table in the next time you are ignoring it. So multiple times you are using the combination of get inserts and get updates, and you can always do that. Okay, now last is we have to go for the requirement of T4 table. So for T4 table, the requirement is we have to capture inserts, updates, deletes and truncates. So what would be my parameters for, first of all, insert? What should I mention?
Get insert, because previously is mentioned ignoring.
Exactly. So until from this point onwards, your ignore inserts will be valid. So to nullify the effect of ignore inserts, you have to include get inserts. Next, for updates,
Nothing need to mention because
we have
previously it already.
exactly. The reason being get updates is coming from here, and we don't have any counter parameter ignore updates, which will make that parameter ineffective. So get updates will continue to be active. Then for deletes,
It is also mentioned previously get
get
deletes.
deletes is coming from here. So get deletes is valid until this point. There is no ignore deletes until this. So as a result, get deletes will also be valid. And last, truncates.
You need to mention, I think, get truncate because
We need to mention get truncates. The reason being we have ignore truncates. So to nullify the effect of ignore truncates, I will use the parameter get truncates. And then I give table pdb1 dot ggtraining1 dot t4. So what happens with this parameter right now is we have created a parameter file which is capturing the data for four tables T1, T2, T3, T4 based on customer requirement. So based on customer requirement, you are capturing the data of the tables which based on the business requirement. So you are using the combination of default parameters, you are using the combination of opposite parameters, and then you are also using or learning or basically providing tables based on what tables the parameters will remain valid. Now one question which may come in your mind, say for example you have 1,000 tables or 100 tables in your environment, and each table has its own requirement. Are you going to give all 100 tables separately? What are the possible options in that scenario? Did that question came in anyone else's mind? So the question is, say for example, you have 100 table T1, T2 to T100, T3, T4 to T100. So each 100 tables, customer has different requirement. So are you going to create a parameter file which has 100 tables and individually you are going to mention? What could be the option we could explore in that?
I think we can make the group for all the requirements, and then group wise we can mention the table's name.
Exactly.
Yes,
So
we
that's
can segregate the tables.
exactly. So the thing is, you have to understand one thing. Even though there are 100 tables, what are the possible options customer can have? Possible options are, customer want to capture only inserts. This is one possible option. Second option is only updates. Third option is only deletes. Fourth option is combination of inserts and updates. Fifth option is updates and deletes. Sixth option is inserts and deletes. Seventh option is inserts, updates and deletes. And is there any other option left? He doesn't want to capture anything. No, so that doesn't fall anything. We can anyways exclude it. So even though you have 10 tables, you have 100 tables, you have 1,000 tables, or you have 10,000 tables. So what you will have to do is, you will have to group the tables together which have same requirements. So say for example, table number T1, table number T21, table number T30, table number T45, T50 want to capture only inserts. So what you will do, you will give get inserts and ignore updates, ignore deletes, and then you will give T1, T45, T50 whatever tables you want for them for the inserts. Then for updates, similarly you will group tables, then similarly delete. So basically all those 100 tables will fall only in these 7 groups, and in these 7 groups you will be capturing the data. You will be creating the parameter files based on these 7 groups.
So
Okay,
you are going to
so
have.
this is how you can create the
Are we
this is
going to
how
have
you can
different,
create the parameter file in Oracle Golden Gate. Now depending on you have how many tables, it doesn't matter. It can be any number of tables, and it is very easy to segregate. It is very easy to group. So I always say, design your Golden Gate properly. First of all, see, now you may say, Ashish, how can we understand? So one thing is, you always have to ensure you are designing Golden Gate properly. Now how can you design? So design not only Golden Gate, any project, how can you design properly? If you understand the requirement properly. Understanding Golden Gate requirement is very important. Understanding, I would say, not only Golden Gate requirement, any project requirement which you have to implement related to any technology, it is very important for you to understand the requirement, what requirement customer has, and based on the requirement you have to design. So if you design, so like this part what I'm mentioning here, like 100 tables will fall under these 7 groups, right? So how can you mention that? How will you get all these things? When you design your Golden Gate properly. When the design of the Golden Gate is proper, in that scenario, it becomes very easy to set up Oracle Golden Gate, and your performance also becomes pretty easy. Now, related to performance, I'll discuss. Yeah, Chalasan, you had a question. You may ask. Do you have a question, Chalasan?
Hi, Ashish.
Yeah, Ashish.
Yeah. So I have a question. So what are the use cases of this? Can you just maybe say one or the use cases where we will have to use the gate or ignore?
So one possible scenario is data warehouse, wherein you don't want to ignore any delete. So basically you don't want to apply any delete in data warehousing environment, right? So in that scenario, whatever deletes happens in source, you don't want to apply on target. So there are different business requirement, business intelligence for these types of cases, which you will understand, and depending on that you have to meet the requirement. So customer can have any requirement, based on that you can achieve those requirements. Okay, yeah, Chalasani.
So if you have these requirements, like few like suppose we have 100 tables, and some critical tables they want everything, like all insert, update, deletes and truncates, and the rest a few tables like other 20 tables they want only deletes and updates. So in such cases we can have separate extract parameter extracts running, right?
You can have 1,000 extracts running, that doesn't matter, but if you want to achieve it in one, you have options, like you can have different parameter processes, or you can have different in the same parameter file, whatever you want to achieve. So it is possible to do it in different, it is possible to do it in same as well.
Okay.
Okay, now now related to performance. Okay, now one thing is related to performance, I want to discuss about that as well. So another thing is, say for example you have 100 tables in your environment. Now how do you want to decide? Do you want to keep only one process? Do you want to keep multiple processes? How would you decide? So remember, again, these 100 tables should be divided in different processes based on how will you design it, like how will you design it, like based on my experience. What I do divide them based on critical tables. Then in under critical tables, I also mention high transaction tables and low transaction tables. Then you have non-critical tables, which include history tables, then you have primary key, foreign key relationship tables. Then you may have some tables without keys. How will you handle those? So you have to divide your tables in such a way that you define what are critical tables. And critical tables means the tables which cannot experience the lag of more than 10 seconds or 30 seconds, I would say. Non-critical tables are the one which can so basically those are history tables, or tables even though you have lag of 1 hour or 2 hours, it doesn't matter, right? So what happens is you want to divide them into different processes. So basically what you want to do is, non-critical tables should not be kept with critical tables for sure. Non-critical tables should not be kept with critical tables. Otherwise, what will happen? Due to lag in non-critical tables, it may cause issue in critical tables as well. So that's why what you will be doing is, depending on number of tables you have, you will be dividing or you'll be segregating your critical tables separately. So say for example, you identify that critical tables are 10. Out of these 10 tables, 5 are high transaction tables and 5 are low transaction tables. So what you can do for these critical tables, you can create 2 separate processes or 1 separate process depending on transaction size. So what you can do is, you will also have to identify number of redos which are getting generated for in a database. So if the redo generation is high, so definitely you want to keep multiple processes. Depending on all this comes with analysis by sitting with the application team, and it is environment specific as well. You cannot confirm like for which database you will have to create how many processes. Everything depends on number of transactions you have. Depending on each database, each environment, it all depends on that. So you can create 1 process, you can create 2 process. Now if you're creating 2 process, what you don't want to do is, you don't want to put all high transaction tables in a single process. Definitely you'll be segregating 2 high transaction tables and 4 low transaction table in 1 process. Similarly, remaining tables in another process. Then you create a separate process for non-critical tables. So non-critical tables, you can create a separate process. Similarly, primary key, foreign key relationship tables should be kept in a separate process, because because foreign key tables should be processed by the same process which are processed by the primary key. Otherwise, if there is any lag and if foreign key table gets replicated first, you will get the error on target that primary record does not exist. And then with table without keys again will cause an error. So in Golden Gate it is recommended that each table should have the key defined. If the key, either unique key or primary key, if the key is not defined, you can define it at Golden Gate level using key calls. However, you can also, if the tables are not present with any key, you will definitely have to identify what all columns can form the key column. You will have to sit with application team. So all this really depends how you can make your Golden Gate performance efficient. This is really very important for making your Golden Gate performance efficient. So depending on that, so why I discussed that, basically in today's session I have to discuss parameters, but why I came up with this performance related part as well, because say for example if you have 100 tables, definitely you won't like to keep all 100 tables in single you can keep that. In parameter file there is no limit. You can keep 100 tables, you can keep 1000 tables, 10,000 tables, depending on the performance, how you design your Golden Gate. But all that also should come with this performance part as well. Your design should be proper. I always say one thing, and I always repeat this in all my training sessions. If you design your Golden Gate properly, you are not going to get any issues related to performance in Golden Gate. If you spend 80% of time in design and 20% of time in implementation, trust me, you will not get any issue in Golden Gate. But you spend 20% of time in designing and 80% of time in implementation, I can sign a paper, you are bound to get lot of issues. So one thing is, spend some time before go live. When you have time, you can see another question I'll tell you from the previous session, from the previous batch. One of my student asked me that question, that if application team is not supporting us, because see, most of the information how you can gather during design is by sitting with the application team. Now, if application team is not supporting, how to go about it? So I always tell you one thing. See, everyone is human, and you are also human. So if you have to take some knowledge out of someone else, you should respect and see, everyone is human. There are some people, most of the people are really helpful. Means I have worked on so many projects so far, and I can tell you, except once or twice, I've never faced those kind of issues. So if you're kind enough with someone else, they will also respect you. So be kind to everyone, sit with application team, they will provide you all the necessary information. Now another thing is, if you're not getting help from application team, as you say, before going live, if you'll tell your customer that you're not getting enough help from the application team, at that moment customer will help you. However, after going live, if you're facing any issue and if you tell the customer that you didn't get help or you are facing this issue because design wasn't proper, then at that moment you are on your own. Even customer is not going to help you. So design your Golden Gate, or not only Golden Gate, I will say design any any technology, any project you are working on, design it properly, and trust me, you will not get performance related issues. At least that's what I can tell you. Okay, so let us move to parameters. So again, related to parameters in Golden Gate, always remember these 6 golden rules. Parameter files reside inside dir PRM directory. Every parameter has a default value. Every parameter has a counter or opposite parameter. Validity of parameter in parameter file is there until the counter or opposite parameter is encountered in parameter file. A parameter can be valid either for extract or data pump or replicate parameter file, or they can be valid for all three parameter files. And last is parameter is valid for tables following that parameter. So always remember this 6 golden rules and you will be fine. Now another thing is, after this session or upon completion of this training, you may be working in the environment, or you may already be working into the environment where Golden Gate is installed, and these are the parameter files are already created. Parameter files are already created. So how do you know what is the usage of that parameter? How can you know what is the usage of that parameter? So starting with Golden Gate 12.2, they introduce one parameter related command. You can do info param get deletes. So like info parameter name. Info parameter name means information related to parameter get deletes. So when you do that, it will tell you the information related to get deletes. So it says so it will tell you what is the parameter name, what is the opposite parameter name, what it does, what processes it is valid for. So you see that this parameter is get deletes. Opposite parameter name is ignore deletes. What it does is include delete records. Default is true. So by default, get deletes is true. And it is valid for extract and replicate, all extract modes, all replicate modes, and on all platforms. Similarly, if you have to do info param get truncates. So if you do info param get truncates, you will see that opposite parameter is ignore truncates, default is false. That means that by default get truncates is false. That means that ignore truncates is by default. And it is valid for all extract modes on all platforms. Similarly, and for databases, this parameter ignore truncates is valid for Oracle 8, Oracle 9i, Oracle 10G, 11G, 12C, 19C, and these databases. And for replicate, let me go above. So for extract, it is valid for all extract modes and on all platforms. And for replicate, it is valid for all replicate modes and on all platforms, but for these databases, like for certain databases, it is valid for apply. So you can get all the information related to any parameter. So there are many parameters in Golden Gate, 5,000 to 10,000 parameters you'll find. So it may be possible, like you are getting some new parameter in your environment where you are working, and you want to know what that parameter does. You may say, we didn't discuss during the training. We don't discuss. See, the purpose of the training is not to discuss everything. The purpose of the training is to make you capable enough so that you can understand what that does. See, what this parameter do is, you may find in your parameter file in your workplace that a particular parameter, you are finding new parameter and you want to see what that particular parameter does. So you can always do info parameter name. And in other scenarios, Golden Gate parameters are self-explanatory, most of the parameters. So they are plain English text. I'll tell you, most of the parameters, not every parameter, but most of the parameter. So most of the parameter you can understand by looking at the parameter file, by looking at the parameter. But if you want to see what that parameter does, you should do info param and parameter name. Okay. So related to insert, updates, and deletes, you have to ensure get inserts, ignore inserts, get updates, ignore updates, get deletes, ignore deletes. And for truncates, you have the parameter called as get truncates and ignore truncates. Similarly, you have some other parameters like pass through and no pass through. So pass through we discussed in one of the training sessions, wherein we included this parameter in data pump parameter file. If I do info all and I do view param dp int 29. So if I do this, you will see that we have included the parameter pass through over here. So pass through, as I discussed, pass through is a parameter whose counter parameter is no pass through. Each parameter has opposite or counter parameter. So opposite of pass through is no pass through, opposite of no pass through is pass through. This parameter is valid only for data pump. It cannot be valid for extract or replicate process. By default, it is pass through. Pass through means pass the data as it is. So as I mentioned, Golden Gate also has the capability to do data filtration and transformation, and you can do that column mapping, etc., which we'll discuss during later part of our training session. You can do it at the data pump level as well. However, pass through means pass the data as it is. What does data pump do? Data pump reads your local trail and writes data to remote trail. Data pump reads the data from local trail and writes it to remote trail. So what pass through means is pass the data as it is. Whatever extract process has returned to local trail, write it to remote trail. Whatever extract process has returned to local trail, write it to remote trail as it is without any changes. So pass through means pass the data as it is. Then we have other
Ashish, I have a
parameters
question.
then we have other parameters like assume target depths or no assume target depths. So assume target depths, again, as we mentioned in our replicate parameter file. So if you look at our replicate parameter file, if I open the replicate parameter file, view param rep int 29. So we have used the parameter assume target depths. Anyways, this parameter is by default now. So assume target depths means, so what happens, first of all, why do we need to use assume target depths? The reason is, what happens is, what does replicate do? Replicate reads the data from remote trail and apply it to target database. So when replicate tries to apply the data by reading the remote trail, when replicate tries to apply the data to target database by reading the remote trail, it needs to know how does the data in source database is stored. So say for example, we have DEPT table. So in DEPT table, say for example, you have 4 columns on source. So when replicate tries to apply on target, it needs to understand what is the structure of table on source, how the columns on source look like. So assume target depth means it is making replicate assume that the source definition of table is similar to target table. Assume target depths, if you divide it into two parts, on left side it is assume and on right side it is target depths. So assume target depths means assume that the target definition is similar to the source definition. So now from 12.2 onwards, we have 12.3 onwards, we have self-describing trail files, which we'll be discussing later on as well. So self-describing trail files means automatically the structure of source objects gets written into the trail files. So Golden Gate automatically have assume target depths now. So Golden Gate replicate process automatically read the target definition from the source, from the remote trails, and then apply the data. Prior to 12.2, the source structure didn't used to be written automatically. From 12.2 or 12.3 onwards, that self-describing trail file feature came, from where automatically the structure of tables gets written into the trail files, and Golden Gate automatically use assume target depths. Even if you are using heterogeneous replication now, and if your Golden Gate version is 12.3 or more, then you have to use assume target depths, because automatically the structure of table is written into the remote trail files, and Golden Gate replicate process refers to the structure or metadata, whatever is present in the trail files, while applying the data to the target database. So assume target depths means assume the target definition that it is similar to source definition. So Rama has replied that this is the 12.2 feature. So yeah, it must be 12.2 feature, not 12.3 feature. Okay, so from 12.2 onwards, you have self-describing trail file. Thanks, Rama, for writing that. So this is the parameter assume target depth parameter. So prior to 12.2, the counter parameter of assume target depth was source depth. That means that you had to generate the definition of table using devgen utility and then provide that definition file on target. However, if you have upgraded your Golden Gate from 12.2 onwards, you don't need that source depth parameter. Now it is no assume target depth. So the counter of assume target depth is no assume target depth. Similarly, counter of no assume target depth is assume target depth. We'll be discussing about self-describing trail files when we'll be discussing our log dump utility during later part of the session. So this parameter is valid for replicat only, and in this case default is assume target depth. So in this case default is assume target depth. So as I mentioned, some parameters are valid for extract, some are valid for data pump, some are valid for replicat, or some can be valid for all three. So pass through is the parameter which can only be valid for data pump parameter file. Assume target depth is a parameter which can be valid only for the replicat parameter file. Similarly, you have some collision related parameter which are handle collisions. So there are three types of collision: insert collision, update collision, and delete collision, which we'll be discussing in our next session. So handle collision is a parameter which handles the collision, and again that parameter is valid for replicat only. So we'll be discussing about this handle collision parameter and what are different type of collisions in our next session. So always remember these 6 golden rules related to parameters whenever you are setting up Oracle Golden Gate. While creating the new parameters in your Oracle Golden Gate parameter file, it becomes easier for you to set up Oracle Golden Gate or comprehend existing parameter files. So say for example, you want to set up Oracle Golden Gate for a new project. In that scenario, you will be using these rules. Similarly, if you have to comprehend existing parameter file in your environment, in that scenario as well, you will have to use these 6 golden rules. Always ensure you're also using the parameter info param parameter name if you want to know anything about a new parameter which you encounter. So you will be encountering lot of parameters that those may be related to performance, those may be related to something else as well. So you will be encountering lot of new parameters based on customer requirements. See, each customer requirement is different. Depending on the customer requirement, you may be learning new things. You may be learning new parameters. How to implement, that is really very important. There are several parameters in Golden Gate. Going forward during the sessions, we'll see many more parameters as well. But there may be a possibility that in your environment where you are working, or if you have to implement new customer requirement, you may want to use new parameter, or if the existing Golden Gate is there, you may have some already existing parameter in the parameter file. So what you should be able to do is you should be able to comprehend or use a new parameter based on customer requirement. That is very important. Okay, so each parameter is gold. So one question which I see is, do we have any important parameter, very frequently used parameters? So each parameter in Golden Gate is important. There is no important parameters, I would say. Important parameters are related to your DML and DDL transactions. Apart from that, whatever parameter, so each parameter is important. There is nothing like any important parameters. Each parameter is important, and depending on the usage, depending on the requirement, you will be using the parameter. However, if you have one-to-one replication, like your source to target replication, and you don't want to do any filtration, anything, so you will be using these 8 or 6 parameters what we have discussed.
Ashish, is ignore truncate is the default value?
So go read it again.
Ignore truncates, is that the default value?
I want you to read this again.
Oh, okay. It says ignore. So it's the other way, right? For the inserts, update, deletes, it's always get inserts is the default, right?
Exactly, yes.
Is this for just to safeguard the data in the replicated database?
I didn't understand that question, Chalasani. What do you mean by that?
Oh, see, data, if on source, if somebody is truncating the data and they don't want to accidentally get deleted or truncated on the target, is that the reason why they have put this as default value? Ignore
So
truncate.
that must be the means. I don't have any details about that why they have done that, but yeah, that probably is the reason, because truncates by if by mistakenly someone execute truncates, and it should not be replicated to target until and unless we want to do it. So ideally that should be the reason, but
Yeah.
developer must have thought about that, and that's why they have done like that for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so in the next session, what we'll be doing is we'll be discussing about collision related parameters, and also we'll be doing exercise where we'll be doing practicals related to these parameters, and we'll be moving forward. So as a practice for this session, what you have to do is whatever we have done like unidirectional setup, please do that. So remember one thing, I'll tell you, before you proceed forward to this exercise, always you have to ensure our activity guide 3, which we have used in our training environment. The activity guide 3 is Bible for us. Activity guide 3, which is present in module 3 activity guides. This is the Bible of Oracle Golden Gate setup. So what you have to ensure is your Golden Gate setup should be running. Like in our case, we have set up extract, data pump, and replicate process. So we have to ensure our extract is capturing the data pump is writing the data to remote trail, and then the corresponding replicate process running on a target machine will read the data from remote trail and apply it to target. So that should be up and running, and that should be clear. And then we'll be moving. We have to move to this parameters related aspect. So parameters are heartbeat of Oracle Golden Gate. If you lose the parameter file in that scenario, so if you accident, so another thing I'll tell you, one email I received from one of the person who is not my student, but he dropped me an email. What he mentioned was, he just dropped me an email mentioning that his processes are running, okay, today morning only. That's the thing of today's morning, and that's why I showed you that part as well. So I was inspired by that only, the initiation which I did with the session. So what he dropped me an email was, he see that processes are running, however under dir prm he don't see any file. What could be the reason why still the parameters are how the processes are still running? So the answer to the question, which I already answered at the starting, and why I discussed that was the inspiration of this question only. The reason was, as I mentioned, is the processes already are, means when you start the process, the parameter file is referred only during startup. Now until you restart the process, it won't be referred. So just in case when the processes are running, and if you see that you don't have parameter file, always what you can do is you can do view report process name, and in the report file as well you will find the parameter file. So if you see this report file, you will see that here the parameters are listed here. Can you see that? So you have parameter file also listed over here. So what you can do, you can copy this parameter file and create the parameter file for future reference, just in case that kind of rare situation come when what I got today from someone else this morning. So another option is, as someone asked in the previous session, what are the critical files if you have to take the backup? You can take the manual backup, and the manual backup of critical files are dir chk, dir prm, dir rpt, dir pcs, dir dat, and dir crd and dir wlt if those are being used. Credential store and wallet directory is used. Okay, so parameter files, I again repeat, are heartbeat in any Oracle Golden Gate environment. These are critical files. If you lose the files, then it becomes difficult for you to recover. There are ways to recover, but first thing you have to keep in mind is you should not be losing the parameter files. So parameter files reside inside dir PRM directory. Under dir PRM directory, you can find all process related parameter file. In fact, manager.prm is also there. Now, another thing before I conclude the session, one thing also I want to show you. What I told you was, for any process, if you want to make the changes effective, you have to restart the process. That's why you have to follow those steps what I mentioned at the starting of the session. That take the necessary approval while making changes to the parameter file, take the necessary approval, stop the process, take the backup of existing parameter file, open the parameter file and edit it, then save and close, and then verify the changes and start the process. So why do we have to do that? Because as soon as you restart the process, only then the changes becomes effective. However, these applies only to the extract, data pump or replicate process. But for manager process, if you have to make any changes, and for manager process, say for example, I want to make any change in manager parameter file. Now, if I have to make the changes to manager parameter file, do I need to restart manager as well? Only manager is an exception. Once you have made the changes to the parameter file, instead of starting and stopping, how can you make the latest parameters effective in parameter file of manager? You have to do refresh mgr. Refresh mgr. Refresh mgr is the command which works only with manager. Refresh mgr is the command which works only with, let me write it. This is really very important. Refresh mgr is the command which works only with manager. It does not work with, it do not work with any other process. So say for example, if I have to refresh REP-INT29, it does not work with. Okay. So related to this as well, there is one blog of mine. I'll tell you. You can go through this blog. This blog is written by me. So all these rules you can also find over this link. I'll ping over chat as well. So you can find over this link as well. So in the next session, we'll be discussing about more on parameters, and we will be discussing about handle collisions, as well as we'll be discussing all the parameters which we have discussed practically.